Good morning. Today is Tuesday, August 30th, 2016. This is what the market looked like at closing yesterday. My expectation is for the price to go up, form a 15-minute divergence that can undermine the hourly, and then we can have the continuation. The 4-hour is definitely calling the price down. The daily is forming a great divergence. The weekly is broken already. But today, before the opening, there's very little movement. We are at minus 491,000 in volume. And that's where we are. 9:31. So there it is. The market opened to a modest, almost non-existent drop of 7 cents, and it is quickly bouncing back off. I always forget to move NYSE up. Take a look at the little divergence there, which we have here, and I can show you the 5-minute time lapse. There's pre-market, and here's the opening. Wow, it bounced right back off. The 60 continues the upside. The 15 continues to pull back. It looks like the 5 minutes getting ready to upcycle there with the support of the 1. And here's the 60-minute time lapse. The weekly wants to go up. The daily still pulls down a little. And we know what happened to the hourly and 15. So there it is. Yesterday, JR is asking me about LNTH, asking me if it's going to continue, and I tell him, be careful because there's a very well-established 15-minute divergence. There's the price continuing the upside. Not by much, but it is continuing the upside. I told him there's a downside pressure pattern here on the daily. We have a 60 that's being undermined. We have an established 15-minute divergence. I just don't like it for it to continue that much more. If you take a look at the channel regression, this thing is due for a pullback. You know, it can pull back below 9 when this thing tops out. So just a quick note on that, not that it matters much. There's the price trying to come back down on that 5-minute and 15. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I'll keep you posted. Remember, I was showing you LNTH. Take a look at this. It's dropping pretty good right now, right? We were at 980, now it's at 935. See what I mean? It's the context. It's the context. 939, I'm looking at this bullshit little pattern, and take a look at this. It yanks the price back down like that to negative territory. How about that shit? 1022. Take a look at this shit, man. Can you believe this crap? Is this thing happening to me again? This thing starts here, or here really, but not here. That 15 turns, pulls back long, continuation, bullshit, horrible looking divergence. Did I pay attention and go elsewhere, like Qs? No, I did not do that. Russell had a very interesting divergence. Take a look at that. Let's call them the 2 and 4 hour charts. They're still up. The 4 hour is okay to pull the price down, and so is the daily. So this thing definitely pull back there. Take a look at the one doing this number here. That's the moment right there. It's not a great move yet, but I did not come over here and look. I should have. I was on the phone with JR. Take a look at diamonds. It went VXX to the upside. They created a pretty interesting divergence on the 15, but the hourly hasn't turned. Can this thing sustain? Son of a bitch. And I was looking at LNTH, and then it comes back down, goes back. We're definitely introducing a lot of weakness to the hourly. 321. Take a look. Drop, pull back, drop, pull back. Here's the 2 hour and 4 hour. I couldn't bring myself to trust 4 hour, but if you take a look at the channel regression couldn't be more established and painted over there. Have a channel regression being met. The technicals on the time frames above it said downside, even the daily. This thing pulls back and continues. The 218s. And I mean, it's no bullshit, but the price did move an entire dollar from above to 1850 to below to 1750, and now we're bouncing back up. I like cues. See what our situation. Lackluster divergence. I mean, I remember a few days back I did a study where I said, how are you going to build a divergence over there if you don't have any power left on the time frames below it? Where is the power going to come from to propel the price back up? See what I mean? And still, I got this price movement there, but I couldn't bring myself to trust this thing. So we are where we are now. We're building a positive hourly divergence here, which definitely can support the upside on what I've been saying all along. This daily is long, and with a continuation over here, we get a pretty good and established negative daily divergence. All right, so it's 5:13 New York. That means the stock market already closed. I don't have much to ask other than this thing was callable, but I decided to not act on it. The 218s probably made a little bit of cash today. Here's the pre-market on the 5-minute time lapse. There's the opening, and then shortly after the opening, take a look at the topping, and then the price comes right back down like that. I mean, there's not even a warning on this thing. Price comes back up, and if anything, that's it on that 1 minute here at say 9:55, 56, 57. There's your drop. So let's say 9:57. Until when? Okay. The 15 is down. It already sustained the pullback, so that gives me a poor man's divergence, if you will. There's the drop. So we're now on the down cycle here of the 5. And it's right there. You have support on the 1, the hourly turn. So we're going to pull back on that hourly. See? So we're pulling back. Take a look at the 15. The 15 is pointing down. So it sustains a pullback. There's a tiny little bit of a pattern there on the 5, which is bullshit. It's really more of a 1 or 2, 3 minute pattern. Price pulls back. That's the pullback on the hourly. Then you have a topping there on the 1, and then you have your continuation there. So you're still in this thing, right? It's 140. Price continues. Take a look at how this thing actually pulls back the 15 there. The hourly is pointing down, and the price starts resolving down. Take a look at that 5. A little bit of support there. Take a look at the hourly. There's your drop. That's an upside pressure pattern on the 15, and lots of support on the 1, 220. That hourly starts looking like an upside divergence. 220. I'm going either here or 222, 223. Yeah. 222, 223. That would be it. So that puts us here, 222. 222, let's say right there. So there it is, 2:22 p.m. It made 63%. See, take a look at how I can really call this thing here to the letter. I don't understand what's my problem here. And take a look at how the price started rallying back up. And then that's the end of the day. And take a look at how these options completely deteriorate. So what's the problem? The problem is a confidence problem, and just gotta trust these technical tops that are happening within context. I mean, take a look at the 4-hour chart when this thing comes in here. See, that's a classic 1-2 pattern. So the move really starts there. That's yesterday around 2 p.m. If we come over here, that's yesterday around 2 p.m. This is yesterday 2 p.m. for 73 cents. Then the price starts its trek. The 15 drops. The 1-2 pattern is because either the price starts its journey to the downside here with a poor man's divergence, which we got because we didn't eclipse previously established stops, or scenario number 2, we have a price continuation and we have an eclipsing of the previously established stops with a well-established negative divergence. The second possibility didn't happen. What happened is the poor man's divergence, and at that particular point, the 4-hour is ready to call the price down. Then the price drops, it pulls back on trend, hits the channel regression. I mean, it couldn't be better than that. Then you have a continuation. You hit the channel regression at the bottom. That flushes out an upside pressure pattern on the 15, and that flushes out a positive divergence on the 5-minute. And that is your exit right here, if not here. Let's say that you hesitate here and you stay, then you exit here. Still at the same level, at around 116. I didn't catch or show you the tippy top of that move because you gotta let this thing start the uptrend before you say I'm done. But the buildup of upside pressure on the one on an aging down cycle on the 5-minute with a pattern tells you everything you need to know. My problem is lack of confidence here, really. And then talk about channels over here. Did we not hit the channel over here pretty good? It was huge. And then the daily is really calling the shots. It really is my mistake. So I'll leave you with that. Let's see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be Wednesday, August the 31st. Until then.